Hey guys, Troy here, back with another video today. I've had a ton of people asking me about Euro investing, soccer cards, a lot of people getting into it, wanting to buy some cards before the Euros, and a lot of them are new. They don't really know who to buy. They may not even know who is actually playing at the Euros, which we'll get to in a little bit. But I wanted to do kind of like a tier list today and rank these cards where I think they should be in terms of if I was to buy right now, what kind of order I would actually put them in. And only last disclaimer before I get into it, these aren't necessarily the best cards, and it's certainly not every card. You'll see like Ronaldo isn't on here because I think it's a different tier. I considered putting some other older, more established. Lukaku isn't on here. There's some players who definitely could have made the list, but I tried to put the most cards that I feel like people are actually talking about and people are looking at the most, and then also just a couple more under the radar type guys who I think are worth taking a look at. But all right, with that being said, no more waste of time. Let's just get into it. So the first player right off the bat, João Felix. His prices have actually come down a lot. I checked the other day, his PSA 9 is going for as low as $120. He's definitely been struggling at Atletico. I think that has a lot to do with kind of the system he's in and how they actually play over there. So considering his prices have dipped down, I think that kind of minimizes some of your risk. I think he'll get some attention and some hype around the Euros for sure. So with where his prices are right now, I'm actually going to say that is a solid buy. Next up, Ansu Fati, really talented player, had a lot of hype. He was one of the brightest names in soccer card collecting not too long ago. Unfortunately, we never know for sure what's going on with his injuries, but it has been rumored that he just had another knee surgery. I personally would be staying away considering he's still pretty expensive even though he's been injured. We're going to put your money into Dogecoin. Also, just for the record, guys, these are jokes. You shouldn't actually mortgage your house to buy any of these guys or go into Dogecoin instead. Well, maybe some people have done well. Okay, next up, Frankie de Jong, a midfielder, probably one of the few, I think he actually is the most defensively minded player on this list. I think he's a really talented player. I think he's going a little under the radar. I said most of these names are players that people talk about. I don't think I've ever really heard anyone talk about Frankie de Jong. I think he gets some attention. I'm not sure how much I believe in the Netherlands. The more I think about it, I think I'm going to put him in not for me. Especially if I was new, I think I just probably would be putting my money elsewhere. Next up, Harry Kane. This is a tough one for me. It's kind of like the constant battle between what does he deserve to be valued at and what does the market actually value him at. He's cheap. He's cheap for what he's accomplished, for the type of player he is, that's for sure. But at the same time, will he get that recognition? I think it will take a England title run or an England title win. I want to put him into solid buys. It depends because, like, for instance, this card right here is like top premier rookie. It's pretty hard. If you can get that for the right price, that's a solid buy. But I'm gonna say 50-50 play, because if England doesn't do well, which I think, they have a star-studded lineup, but it's far from a sure thing that they'll actually compete for a title, you definitely won't see an increase in Harry Kane, at least in my opinion. So I'm gonna put him in 50-50 plays. Next up, this one might even be a tad bit controversial. Phil Foden. This is a guy who I don't want to say pumping, but a guy I've been talking about for a long time, especially this optic, and it's kind of come good. His PSA 10 optics got as high as $800. I think they're still around maybe $600 range, $700. So very expensive. Believe it or not, for the first time, this is almost, I don't want to say sacrilegious, but against everything this channel stands for, I'm going to say not for me. Because, well, I'm in between 50-50 and not for me. It's just so expensive. There's going to be more of these coming back from PSA. And, he's already so expensive. It's not like those things are going to go over 1,000. I mean, that would be pretty crazy. But he is the best. I'm biased, but I'm going to throw him into 50-50 actually. Especially if you can get some low numbered stuff that can do well for you. So he has the chance to be one of the standout performers of the tournament. Just know he's very, very expensive right now. So just be careful rushing in. Next one, Erling Haaland. I already know, people are on the computer. Haaland's not in the Euros, Haaland's not in the Euros. Okay, I know. Not everyone on the channel is a soccer expert here, which is great. A lot of this video I think is for people who maybe don't know the most about soccer or soccer cards. Erling Haaland is not at the Euros. So I guess this one actually kind of breaks it, but I'm gonna put him at the bottom. That's just a reminder for you guys. That doesn't mean his price can't go up, but if you're expecting his price to go up because of his play at the Euros, it's not gonna happen because he's not gonna be there. Next one, Bruno Fernandes. This is Topps Chrome 2017. I think this is actually straight into solid buys. They're pretty expensive right now because they're low pop, but I think maybe because he's not in the Champions League with Manchester United, people have kind of slept on Bruno Fernandes. He's on a very strong Portugal side with a chance to make some noise at the Euros, and I think he's once again a guy who has a chance to be one of the top players at the tournament. And whenever you can get those top players, I think it's a good move, with the exception of, Foden and maybe, Mbappe's next. I won't skip ahead too much, but just these guys who have already crazy boomed, you want to be a little wary. Bruno Fernandes is fairly expensive, but I still think he has room to grow. But real quick, before we get into the next one, we have a message from the sponsor of today's video, and that is Otis. Otis is the stock market for culture. It's a fractional investing app with rare collectibles, trading cards, sneakers, jerseys, art, a bunch of really cool pieces, pieces of history really. And they have 3 current or upcoming drops on there that I'd really be interested in. The first one being Michael Jordan, red, precious metal gems. Really nice looking card, a tough grade so it doesn't bother me too much, but that is really, when you think of 90s, it was a little bit before my time. I was just, young back then, but this just screams iconic to me and a card I really want to get a piece of. Next one, Mbappe Orange Prism, right in the theme of this video, PSA 10. Really nice looking card, numbered out of only 65 in a PSA 10. So to get a chance to own, one of his prisms that you don't see every day, I think that's pretty cool. And last but not least, Cristiano Ronaldo Mega Cracks BGS 9.5, a card I've been chasing forever. Haven't been able to get it yet, but to own at least a fraction of it, I think is pretty cool. So we'll be looking to pick up a share of that as well. And today we have a very special offer from Otis for you guys. When you sign up today using my link in the description, you're actually gonna get your first share free when you fund your account, terms apply. So a really cool way to get started over there. Once again, owning a piece of culture, owning a piece of history, really cool. So check out in the link in the description and check them out. Mbappe. This is a tough one. It'll be interesting to see. It's hard to say for sure without seeing what his prices are gonna do, kind of now that PSG is out of the Champions League. I think in general though, we're gonna put him in solid buys because you can't go wrong with Mbappe, especially if you're holding long term. But just know, I've definitely mentioned it in other videos, his prisms specifically, his rookie sticker definitely, are up almost 3x just from 2 or 3 months ago. So can they still double off of that? I'm not sure. So once again, with that long-term factor in mind, I think it's probably okay to hold Mbappe, but I wouldn't necessarily be absolutely rushing out to buy before the Euros. Next one, Alexander Isak, kind of an under the radar one, especially if you're new to soccer, you probably don't even know this guy's name. He was you see him in his Dortmund kit right here. He was kind of one of their wonder kids like they have now. Didn't really come good there, but he's on Real Sociedad now in La Liga. Had 14 goals this year, so a talented player. He's playing for Sweden, going to be alongside Zlatan or maybe, switching off time. Really cheap. It sounds absurd to say mortgage or house to buy, but we'll put him in solid buys. He has a Panini rookie in his Real Sociedad kit. It's like $5. Just a guy that I think's worth taking a look at. Next up, Kai Havertz. Wow, people are going to be upset about this one, I think. Should I put him in? I said it before, let's be clear. It's a joke. I'm not saying actually mortgage or house to buy. I just think, Chelsea, chance to win the Champions League. I think he'll play better with Germany. I'm going to put him up here in one of the best buys for me, just because I think he's gotten so cheap. I mean, I know I picked up his Optic bases for $18 at one point. I have to look specifically and see what they're doing now. I doubt they've seen a crazy rise. I think he'll play better with Germany as well. But yeah, just looking at this list, I think I probably would have him above João Felix in terms of people I'm buying, just in terms of their prices right now. I understand that one's a controversial one, but I think once again, based on his price, I think he's a really good buy right now. Next up, Marcus Rashford. Another guy, his prices have actually risen a little bit. I'm just going to throw him into 50-50 plays. I could see a scenario where he has a Euros and they have a lot of attacking talent there, and he just kind of isn't like the main guy. So once again, considering where his prices are at, I'm not sure I would be absolutely rushing out to buy him. Next one, Raheem Sterling. I'll say not for me, because once again, he's a guy who's very, very cheap considering the type of player he is. But with England, with all that attacking talent, I just probably would put my money elsewhere. I think it's going to take a lot for Sterling considering his age. He's not old by any means, but I think we pretty much know what he is at this point in his career, so it would take a lot for him to see his prices increase. Maybe if you can get a good deal on him, but for me, I'm kind of going to stay away. Next one, Mason Mount. His Prism rookie card. I think it's cool that he actually has a rookie in the EPL first Prism set, so it could end up being kind of iconic. We have an interesting top one. It'll be cool. We always get comments disagreeing, but I think there might be a lot with this one, which is fine. I don't claim to know everything. I'm going to put him in that top tier. I think he has a chance. Like when I think of like Rashford and Sterling, I don't know. It's just a feeling I have, but I don't think they're really going to excite people. Mason Mount. Same thing with Havertz. We got the two Chelsea boys up top. Potential to win a Champions League, or at least feature in the final, have a lot of eyes on them. Then go to the Euros and play for England. I think Mason Mount, all coaches just seem to love him. So I think he's going to get a lot of playing time and be one of the featured players in that. And his EPL Prism PSA 9, $100 to $200 range. Not too crazy. I'm assuming it's fairly low pop. I would love to get one of his cards for that price, and especially if you can get a numbered parallel like this Blue Ice, I think you'd do pretty well. Next one, Federico Chiesa, maybe someone you guys don't know. He plays for Italy and Juventus, young winger. Hasn't lit the world on fire in terms of production, but I still think he has around 10 goals, which is pretty good production for a team like Juventus. The more I think about it, I should have just changed the title of this one to something else, but it's okay. I went for the joke and we're going to roll with it. I think he's a great buy. His optic base I know is $10. So at that price right there, kind of minimizes your risk. I think he has a chance to excite some people just because, like I said, he's young, iconic, optic rated rookie set, something I'm a big fan of. I think that's him and Isaac are kind of those two under the radar guys who I was talking about that you probably haven't heard about. I think he has a chance to be Italy's also a dark horse as well. I've heard some people talking about them, so worth a shot. Next up, Jadon Sancho. Interesting. Foden and Sancho were the two guys I've been talking about for a long time, and I keep hearing everyone's buying Sancho for the Euros. There's an outside shot he doesn't even make the squad. At least that's what people are saying. I think he'll probably be in there, but I think that, we'll do it just for the controversy. I'm going to say not for me. At the prices he's currently at, with kind of the hype he's getting, I would rather, I'd rather have Foden, but I'd rather have Mount. I'd rather have some of these other guys. I have the opportunity. I'm not really going after Sancho right now. I guess maybe because I already have enough, but I'm just going to keep him down there. Last but not least, Kevin De Bruyne. I put him up here. I think he's one of them. We'll even put him here. I think he was one of the top buys, especially if you can get some of his nicer stuff. I think if I had just betting odds, I think he's the favorite to be the best player in the tournament on potentially the best team. So especially if you can get, Prism Silver, you can get his true rookie 2010. If you can find that, I think he's just a great, great player. And I think he'll really shine at that tournament. And I have a lot of faith in Belgium doing well as well. De Bruyne is one of the top players in the world. And I guess it makes sense he's up there with the Chelsea guys. People who have that opportunity to win a Champions League, go on and win the Euros. I think that type of performance is what it's going to take to really, change their legacy, change their perception, get a lot of people excited about them. But all right, guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and we're going to keep the videos coming. Thanks again.